Challenge accepted art redefined with your host Bob Hendrick.
Hi, everybody. This is Bob from TCAC, Trinity Community Arts Center, right here in the heart of Northport Village. We are so excited today to have with us someone who has really shaken up the local arts world here in Northport over the past few weeks. It's Diana O'Brien. Diana O'Brien competed in our Northport Main Street Artist of the Year competition and won it against some formidable competition, I would say. Wouldn't you say that?
Oh, yeah.
And it was a windy day, cold day, and she persevered and did an incredible job. And she also just recently, this past weekend, was part of our Walt Whitman Roam, Create, Send Verses in Transit competition, where she won the incredible People's Choice Awards, which is really nice because it's like everyone had a chance to vote for their favorite piece, and you won it. So why don't you just reflect over like what's transpired over the past couple of weeks, Diana?
Sure. Well, first of all, yes, I was able to create alongside amazing artists. Like their art was incredible. Like, and we were all out there in the wind and the cold. I think a couple of us, including myself, got a little respiratory situation from
That's
that.
true. You got sick after that,
did.
didn't you?
But it was worth it.
Sorry about that.
It's okay.
That happens as an artist.
Yeah.
It's the artist's way.
It was either from that or my son, who's 5. So it doesn't matter where it came from. But yeah, so I got to paint. The directive for that competition was capture the feeling. So that's what I tried to do. And I saw all of the other artists around me doing the same thing. And it was, the energy was unlike anything I've ever experienced before in my career, just because we were out there on it was a beautiful day, but it was hard. It was, I mean, my hands were numb for about 2 hours, but it didn't matter because I was thriving I was just like getting the energy from everybody.
So it wasn't like, you know what, you were trying to beat the other person.
No.
It was like you were absorbing the energy, and as a collective, you were all working together to try to really create something very special.
Totally. That was my experience.
How cool is that?
Yeah, and that's what I tried to capture, that feeling of everyone together, the elements, but the emotion is what it's all about. The feelings, the emotion. I tend to be a very highly emotional person. It's really good for my art. In other areas, not so good. But for that day, it was good.
Well, that's fantastic. I know we had a little bit of brushback from some people who thought, you know, I don't know what was the exact wording. Oh, you had a big dog competition, and like art really isn't about competing.
Top dog.
Yeah. What do you think of, is art about competition or not? What are your personal thoughts on that?
Well, I don't feel qualified to answer that definitively, but yeah, that's a tough one. Is it about competition? Well, I want to say no, but there's a part of me that, and I'm not a competitive person. I've always said that. I hate sports. I'm just not a sports person. It freaks me out to put myself out there and compete against other people in terms of athletics. Right. Not me. When it comes to art, I definitely can say that. I mean, there's an aspect of competition there, but but it's not because I want to be better than anybody else. It's because I want to be the best I can be. God put me here on this earth with this particular skill, and it's my responsibility to make sure that I hone that skill. And so in terms of competition, it's really how good can I be? Like how I don't want to beat anybody else. Okay. I'm inspired by people.
So you're competing against yourself, basically.
Yes.
So you're competing against yourself, and whatever level of achievement you reach, it's like that's what you reach.
Yeah.
It's like I don't have to beat that person.
No.
Oh, look at that. That's an incredible plein air artist. Oh, let me go out there. Let me try to do better.
Right. No.
It's like you get inspired by other people.
I get totally inspired by them, especially the ones that I can't, well, the ones that I have very specific skill sets. Like there's things that, in terms of medium, that I don't gravitate toward. And there's other mediums that I really love. Like I love graphite, I love charcoal, acrylic. I'd like to get into oils. And so I'm particularly inspired by watching those artists create at a high level, because it just, I don't know, I just take it into my brain. I try to absorb it, and I try to understand how I can be better at what I'm doing. That is how I approach competition. I can see the value in terms of professional, like the whole professional career path. I'm
Sure.
not interested in, ultimately, like I said, I'm responsible for doing my very best at all times. I'm going to fall short all the time, but I have to try to be my best. And so that doesn't include, oh, I'm going to beat so and so over there. Like, I'm going to be better than them. That it has not, for me, it has nothing to do with that.
So the competition is about just making yourself better.
Yes.
It's not about beating anyone. It's not
No.
about being top dog or
No,
anything
no.
like that. It's about just being the best that you can be.
Yeah.
Because God gave you this gift.
Yes.
Now, going on, so
With
I
his love for
know
it.
you're a very religious person. We've had many conversations in the past about religion and what it means to you, what it means to your family. Pertaining to art and religion, do you feel that artists, for the most part, are given this gift from God, and it's their responsibility to be able to create something and like put it out there to the world? Is that like, how do you feel about that? You know, there's some people think, well, you know what, God gave me this gift, I have to go out there with it, I have to do this. Other people are like, no, God didn't give me this gift of art. It's just something that after practicing, the famous 10,000 hours, I became this good. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I can't speak for everybody, and I can speak for myself. And my thoughts on that are, I often say and I believe that I have a love for it. I love for doing it.
When did that start?
When I was little. Yeah, when I was really little.
Like what, 3, 4?
My mom
5?
always had art supplies out, like professional level art supplies out for us. And my dad would bring home the dot matrix printer paper from work, and we would just, I'm the oldest of 4. And so, but we had the art supplies out all the time. And I developed a love for using those art supplies. So it captured my attention. And anything that has my attention, I'm going to do. And so the more I do it, the better I can get at it. And I'm not like, there's so much. I look at the painting that I did, and I see it critically, right?
Right.
So I can see so many flaws and ways I can improve. And that's something that I struggle with, balancing, like not beating myself up all the time, and honoring what God has given me, which is a love for it. It has. I don't claim to have any. I don't think I have any innate talent. I have an innate love for it that makes me do it.
And thus, you're able to create such incredible works.
Because
it was amazing. I mean, most people were absolutely amazed of what you were able to do within a 4-hour period of time. I mean, most people out there who are not artists don't understand. It's like a painting like that, for most people, would take a lot of hours. It's like maybe 4 times 4 hours, like 16 hours to get to that level of achievement. How did you learn to paint so quickly and efficiently, understanding the composition, understanding what you're looking at, and being able to balance it out in such a short time frame?
By looking at other artists, by looking at people who are way better than me, and just absorbing what they do, and really trying to learn from it, analyzing it, and looking, and that, and doing it, and practicing and failing over and over, and making a lot of painting mistakes. For a long time, I painted with a nonprofit. We painted murals in hospitals for children all over the United States. Wow. And that was just an amazing experience. They're located in Huntington. Splashes of Hope. They're amazing. It changed my whole life, and it changed my portfolio and my career, if you want to put it that way. But I developed a realization that as an artist, I'm most driven by mission work. So if I can get behind the mission, and for me, that's capturing the emotion behind it, either just as an artist or also on the wall or whatever, wall or canvas. But to answer your question about like how did I do it so quickly, is because when you're painting when I was painting in a hospital, in an emergency room, like overnight,
right,
or whatever, the conditions are not what you generally think of, like an
Sure.
art studio, you know, like it's
Sure, it's
in a
not
hospital.
it's not on your time.
Right.
It's their
It's their
timeline.
time. Yeah. So I learned to paint fast. And like I said, I made so many mistakes. And I learned from the people painting those walls around me. I learned a lot. Heather Boucher, especially, like watching her paint, watching her team paint. So, and when I realized watching them that it's just paint, I could just paint over it if I make a mistake.
It's just paint.
Yeah, it's just paint.
Isn't that something? It's like so many
Yeah.
people are so caught up. They're afraid. I'm sure. I mean, you teach arts classes. I teach art classes, and people are so afraid to put that brush to canvas because what if I don't make that tree look like a tree or that house
Right.
look like a house? Then you paint over it.
Repaint it. Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
it's the most common thing we can think of. It's like you just go over it. It's paint. There's nothing wrong with that. And you grew by making mistakes.
So many.
Right?
Oh yeah.
How do you grow if you don't make mistakes?
I don't know.
Right? You really can't.
You can't.
Because you learn.
Yeah.
Right? When you make a mistake, you then learn from it.
What not to do.
So
yeah.
it's like that's so important in art. So it's like those people out there who might be inspired to say, you know what, let me pick up that paintbrush or let me pick up that piece of graphite or charcoal and do something. What is your advice to them just starting out? You know, can I do this? Am I going to embarrass myself? Why should I bother? What's your advice to those people?
My advice is to do it. Just pick up those supplies and just start drawing. Observe, you know, from life. Make as many mistakes as you can. Don't think of them as mistakes. I mean, I think that it's important to put pen to paper, you know, to put the pencil marks, any marks you can make on a paper or a canvas, and just take the pressure off. And now I'm saying that, and that's like totally hypocritical because it's not easy. Mm-hmm. It's not easy at all. For me, deadlines work. If I have,
right.
Yeah, I think you've probably noticed that too.
Yes, absolutely.
The 4-hour deadline, that worked. You know, so I had to capture it. I had to. I like it. For me, I like that intensity. I say like, but it just works for me because I'm forced to channel that feeling, add it to the skill, whatever skill I have. Right. And there's something about that. My brain shuts off. If your brain doesn't shut off when, like, if my brain is, my thoughts are always going. I struggle with anxiety. Mm-hmm. It's a lifelong struggle. But when I'm painting, it shuts down. Like I just paint.
You become one with the subject matter. You become one with the painting.
Not always,
right?
Not always, but when it's working.
But does that come out? If you say not always, so when it's not always, do you see that reflected in the work you're doing?
Yeah.
So you can see a dramatic difference between the two.
Yeah, I can feel it. Right. Yeah, I can feel it. And sometimes people see things that I can't see in my work. And this is a case of that. Like I didn't know that I was going to win. I didn't. Right. I saw everybody else's work, and I saw the energy of the day come through, some more than others, in different ways. And whatever you guys saw in my work, I didn't necessarily. I saw the flaws.
Right.
Yeah, but I felt good. I felt like I was capturing the lines and the value in a way that reflected the spirit of the day, which. That's always the best challenge for me. And the best way for me to meet that challenge is to have a very tight deadline.
Sure.
Which is why I do the wedding painting. It works for me.
So you do this is part of your business portfolio, right?
Recently,
you paint weddings.
Yes.
So what does that entail? Like, what do you do?
Oh, it's so fun. So I get dressed up. It's not like a regular, you know, which I like to be in my pajamas all the time, but I can't do that at weddings. So it's nice to look nice and feel good. And I have all my stuff, and I go to the wedding. Before that, I talk to the couple about what moment they want me to capture. And then I capture the moment. I take my own reference pictures, and I set up my easel, like a plein air. It's plein air painting, but in a wedding reception.
So when you do it and you're looking at the various scenarios developed, you take photos and you do those as reference, or you just go right from life?
A little of both, but I take photos and I use the reference for the couple because I don't know them, you know. Right. And so I take a few. I usually take a video because then I can scroll through and take a screenshot of the moment that I really like, and so that helps me. And if I don't get the right moment, then I work with the photographer there and I ask for reference, and they're always very willing. Yeah, It seems like a really nice community.
Yeah, and I mean, I can imagine the type of uplifting experience that must be there. I mean, here at this incredible, joyous moment,
Yeah,
and to be how amazing it is to be chosen as an artist to be able to memorialize that historic event in these people's lives.
it's incredible.
I mean,
Yeah,
I can
it's
imagine the feeling must be amazing.
it's so much fun. It's so much fun, and the energy there is so great. And I feed off of that, just like the energy at the competition the other day or a
Hmm.
week ago, whenever that was. And I like the music. It shuts down my brain. Anything that shuts my brain off, I'm into.
Interesting, interesting. What was at the Northport Artist of the Year competition? What was the most difficult challenge that you had to overcome? Like, where did you hit the wall when you were painting, so to speak, using a marathon, vernacular, if at all?
I didn't hit the wall that time. I would have, but the most difficult challenge was I didn't have a clip uh, for my canvas,
Okay.
so I had to use my left hand, and I held the as I was painting. I think for 4 hours I held I held it,
So
and I
your
didn't
hand was
realize.
frozen.
Well, no, my hands were frozen while I was doing that, but then I
Uh,
had a lot of pain.
oh,
It went away.
but this is just overcoming challenges.
Yeah, but I could have planned better.
Right,
I
right.
could have had a
It
clip.
happens, right? And you
Yeah,
get out there and you just deal with it the way it is,
yeah.
and you just make it work. So, as an artist, who was the biggest influence to you growing up? Like, what artists, whether dead or alive, would you love to have dinner with and go over their technique and what inspired them?
Oh, that's a good question. I'm not ready with an answer, but there were so many. As a kid, you mean? Well, I love children's books. I like to illustrate children's books, as you know. So they were really influential. Uh, Tommy DePaola. I have a very different style than he had, but his books, his artwork made an impact. Chris Van Allsburg. I love his graphite drawings. They're incredible. I've since evolved from that. Like I feel like, yeah, that's a whole other conversation. But they were impactful for me as a
Oh,
kid.
okay.
Yeah. Um, uh, John Birmingham.
Mm-hmm.
His illustrations are pen and ink and watercolor, and they're so full of life. All of these are imprinted on my brain.
That's great.
Yeah,
That's great.
yeah,
So you mentioned children's books. I know Belle the Brave was near and dear to your heart. Can you go into that a little bit?
sure. So Belle Svoboda is a young, brave girl who is currently, again, battling cancer. But a couple of years ago, she was in my daughter's class in
Mm-hmm.
first grade at Washington Drive Primary School, and they sent home a letter saying that she has cancer and she was going to have her leg amputated. At that time, I was doing my master's degree, and I needed to pick a thesis
Mm-hmm.
topic. So I decided to ask the parents if it was okay to focus on that and create a children's book by, with, and for her. And
Wow.
so I did. And then that inspired me to. I actually took the Splashes of Hope mission, healing through artwork, and I tried to channel it through books. So I formed a nonprofit called Authors of Hope, and in honor of that. And I have two other books in the works right now. It's very slow
Wow.
going because I
You have a busy
financial.
schedule.
Yeah, I have two little kids
I
too.
can't imagine.
Yeah.
I can't imagine.
I'm blessed. I actually, the impetus for all of this, the catalyst for doing all of this, except that the book I did while I was working as head of marketing for somewhere, but they had a reorganization and I was laid off
Mm-hmm.
September 13th of last year, not this year. So it's been over a year now. And when that happened, I remembered an article I read in the newspaper about a wedding painter,
Mm-hmm.
and I decided to go for it. And and then I opened a studio in Greenlawn called Lavender Forest Studio, so where I'm teaching when I can. But I'm also mainly using it as a studio to finish I put the final touches on the wedding paintings that I
Oh,
do.
that's great.
Yeah, and I do small events there if people want me to.
Okay, so it's right
Yeah,
in Greenwood on Broadway.
on Broadway.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. So the art world, and we have discussed this in the past, is really an interesting world to say the least. And it's like people's perspective of artists are always interesting to me
Mm.
as it pertains to, because it's a little bit different here and I'm wearing a Union Jack jacket on purpose because the way art is represented here in the States and people's response to artists here in the States is totally different than that over in Europe. Because over in Europe, there's a different level of respect for artists, I feel, in just having been over there and having been here. Because in the States, I am always asked the question, but what was your real job?
Mm.
Right? Because arts are always discounted, as a hobby,
Yeah.
right? In Europe, artists are looked at on the same plane as doctors and attorneys and accountants because of their respect for artists and what artists create. Because it would be a pretty bland world without artists. I mean, no matter what, can you imagine?
Mm.
What is your opinion on that? Like what have you felt when you talk to people and say, "Oh, I'm an artist," and their response to you?
Wow, that's so. First of all, I'm not qualified. I haven't spent enough time or any time in Europe to really understand that their perspective.
Sure.
I know what I've read and studied, and I can see truth in what you're saying. In terms of like what it's like to be an artist over there now, I don't know how people would react to me over there as opposed to here. Over here, and I feel like I have very positive reactions. Usually, nobody really. Sometimes, back in the 90s when I was entering into art school, which was graphic design school, I chose graphic design because of what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
So
right,
there you go.
Right. There's a reason. There's always a reason.
I circled right back. Yeah, no, I didn't want to be a starving artist, so I went to be a graphic designer, and I did well at that. But then I hated it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in terms of going to a job 9 to 5, which was really 8 to 6.
And told this is what you're creating today.
I didn't mind. So what I discovered about myself along that path was that I like to have a structure within which to create. But then in the last year, I've kind of started questioning that. I'm moving away from that a little bit, but I like to have, like with the 4-hour parameter, right? All right, I'm going to create 4 hours and go nuts, and here's my directive, and I'm going to do it. Same with the weddings, 5 hours, 6 hours sometimes. I know what I'm going to do, and that's very comforting to me. So the sense of security that I got from choosing that path as a graphic designer was important to me for a long time. And now as a freelancer, where I also teach at Farmingdale College. I'm an adjunct, so it's just one class for right now. I'm loving it. But what I tell my students, I'm trying to teach them to think critically, and to think not to have to believe that you have to be a 9 to 5. Like you don't. That's not the reality of what we do. For me, okay. So here's another thing. What I do understand, I just told my nephew this over text. They were asking me what they're in art school, but confused about which way to go.
Sure.
Very talented, and so I was able to give this perspective to them, where the security worked for me for a long time, and the financial security, it's good, but then it was just killing my creativity. And the real reason that I have chosen to leave it and not pursue another job after getting laid off is because my kids, and there's no work-life balance, and that forced me out. I needed the flexibility in corporate America. It is not there. As a woman, as an artist, and I happen to be an artist, but as a woman in corporate America, not working, it was horrible.
Right. It's like, you have kids? Okay, put them in daycare. Okay, and let's just move on. Right.
Yeah.
The focus is make this company better, and we don't want any distractions.
Right. And if I'm gonna work really hard, what I've discovered over the past year, and I'm sure you can relate to this, I love to work for myself. I love to work for myself.
Right.
And not as selfishly, like sounds selfish, but I also, what I like about working at Farmingdale is that I'm part of something bigger than myself, which is very important for me to have that feeling as an artist when I'm creating. It has to be something bigger than me that I'm creating for. I have to feel attached to that somehow. Does that make sense?
Oh, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
It's like it gives you a reason, a meaning
Right.
You have to have that meaning.
Yeah. Otherwise,
It's
what am I
always bigger
doing?
than yourself.
Right. Like
Right.
if there were no other artists there on last Saturday, I wouldn't have been there.
Right.
I'm not going to go out in the cold and paint.
Right.
But I was part of something bigger than me.
Right. And see that
yeah.
whole Northport Artist of the Year, that's based on a European model that I saw went over in Europe with what they did, and what different art competitions they had over there. So they had the UK Artist of the Year. And I'm like, wow, this is an incredible concept. It's never been done in Northport before like this. I don't know, I'm sure it's probably been done someplace in the States or someplace around, but it's like, let's bring it right to Northport. And you were a wild card. You weren't even one of the featured artists last year. Like every featured artist at the Main Street Gallery here at TCAC was invited to participate. But then we had the opportunity and put it out there across the board for anyone who was up to the challenge of creating a piece in 4 hours of Seymour's or something around that area. And you came in, you presented your piece, you were accepted. What is it like being a wild card? Like you weren't a featured artist. That's also a competition because I'm going to present this.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm going to be accepted. I don't know if I'm going to be rejected. What was that? I mean, what do you feel?
Nervous. I didn't like that part. I don't like being judged. But then it felt really good to be a part of it. I wanted to be a part of the whole thing. That was my goal, like to just participate. I just wanted to participate. And I was so glad to be able to participate. So,
well, you know what? It meant the world to us. I mean, you're an incredible individual. And just seeing you competing out there, I can't name all the artists, but Larry out there, out in the wind, yeah. Everything's blowing all over the place. And he's
I was going to paint him in there.
Undaunted. Yeah, he's like, yeah. The branches were literally falling off the tree by him.
It was great.
Dogs were barking at him,
amazing.
But he persevered. You had Jen Uline, right, from Girl in a Camera Productions. She's out there, a photographer, taking photos, creating frames using specific paints, putting together a story in a totally unique way as a photographer. Then you have a local Melanie Marzano and Maria Monda, and we had artists from China, Cuba, you name it. I mean, what a cross section of the artistic world. And we were blessed to be able to do that. And I personally, and Nancy personally, thanks Father Garnett for allowing us the opportunity to do so. Because if it wasn't for Father Garnett, Trinity Community Arts Center would not exist. So it's interesting, and it's like giving back to community, like you were saying, and it's like something bigger than you. It's like it's wonderful for us to be able to create a venue for artists such as yourself to shine, because you deserve the light. You deserve that recognition, because especially, let's say, in a town like Northport, there really is just very limited, exposure for artists. We have some great galleries down here, but basically you're limited. We have the great Firefly artists down the street, but they're booked, and they probably have a waiting list for years.
Yeah, they
so
do.
It's like, guess what? You're not going to exhibit your artwork here.
Right.
Other ones like that are around, you just don't have that opportunity. You can put your stuff up in a library and such, but I think it's a different vibe when you put it up in a more structured gallery setting, that's run by artists, that embrace artists, that's able to promote you and promote other artists. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think what you're doing is great. I think what Trinity is doing, my husband and I got married here. Our children were both baptized here. I love Trinity. And I think what you're doing ties directly into what you just said about giving the spotlight to the artists, but it's not about, this is just my experience and my opinion. It's not about me as an artist like Diana O'Brien.
Right.
It's about, so I believe that God put this love in my heart or obsession or whatever for art.
Right.
And so whatever I do, like as a result, whatever I do is, and anything good that I do all the glory and the credit goes to him.
Mm-hmm.
And so the fact that you, as a part of the church, are helping to highlight this in other artists and myself and other artists is incredible. And it's about honoring God. It's
Mm-hmm.
about honoring the love of art that we've been given, and that's where the responsibility comes in. Like my focus has to always be on Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
It so easily goes into, it could easily go into other ways, and I
Sure.
get pulled all the time, and I work hard to keep my focus on Jesus so that my art, it shows that. Like
Oh,
I mean,
absolutely.
I'm not
You
saying
can
it's
see it, especially, I
yeah,
mean, being a wedding painter. I mean,
the love.
that's a huge sacrament, right? Getting married. And it's like, here you are, you're creating something for that moment,
I get to witness it.
right?
I get
And
to,
it's,
yeah.
how wonderful is that?
No, it's amazing. That's why I like that energy. There's something so sacred about that love and those moments that I can
Yeah.
witness, and I can bring it to life on a canvas. There's something really cool about that. You know, it's not just about it. What, you know what? So practically, yeah, we need to live. I need to make a living.
Sure.
I need to help provide and all of that. And I'm proud of being able to do that. And I'm blessed to be able to do that. God gave me a brain to use, and I try to use it. Sometimes I
Absolutely.
use it too much, and that's not good. But yeah, I get to help pay the bills, and but more than that, like I can feel the difference. Like I could go pay the bills somehow,
Sure.
so many other ways.
Sure.
But the way I was doing it through graphic design, I get to teach graphic design now, which is awesome. It's so much fun. But I'm in a good place to do that. Do I want to sit at a desk anymore? No,
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to do that. What I liked best about my last job was leading a team of people,
Right.
and helping them be their best. So I don't want, let me get back on track. I'm going on a tangent. I can feel myself going on a tangent.
It does happen. This is
Yeah.
the artistic way, people, just to let you know. This happens with artists. It's the way the brains are wired.
I've done
There's
pretty
nothing
good.
you can do about it.
So I've done so good. So
You know,
so
you
far so
have,
good.
you've been
Yeah.
fantastic.
Coherent. Yeah.
You know.
But what was I saying?
I have no idea what you were saying. You
All
got
right.
me off on a tangent now, anyway. No, but
Yeah.
you're right. I mean, giving back to the community, helping lead a team,
Yeah.
helping to inspire that team,
Yeah.
right? Isn't that cool?
You're inspiring other artists, right?
Yes.
So the space that you're giving to artists in Northport is very different from any other space that I have seen, because you're focused on giving the glory to God. There's nothing that's dark that's coming out of here, and there's all light. And I feel safe bringing my kids here.
Mhm.
I feel wonderful, recommending. I feel good to recommend you guys to other artists that, like I just did.
Sure, absolutely.
I'm proud to do that. I have never been able to say that about any other gallery
Right.
or space. And
Well, that means a
yeah.
lot. That means a lot to us.
there's really good energy here.
Because it's very special. This used to be a Sunday school for Trinity. This building was built in 1908. We have people coming into this place, into TCAC. The floors are painted green for a reason. Not that we like green for a floor, but because this was the original color of the Sunday school.
I didn't
When
know
people went to Sunday school at Trinity. So they went to Sunday school at Trinity in the 40s, and they come in and they're just taken aback. They're like, you kept the floor. The memories that they have of this place, and now seeing it transformed into something completely different than what it was, and having the energy means everything to us. And it's an absolute honor to be able to have artists like you that have such conviction, such talent, and to be able to have you involved with different projects. And we're so very proud of what you have accomplished. I mean, these two beautiful awards here, the Northport one, which is my original artwork on that award, by the way, of Northport Harbor.
I didn't know that.
That's a painting I created.
Nice.
And of course, People's Choice. What is more perfect than People's Choice, where you had, 100 people voting, and you won. All these people were voting. They saw your pieces. What did you create at Whitman? What type of medium did you use?
Charcoal.
Charcoal. So you created charcoal on postcards and then sent them through the United States Postal Service.
Yeah.
Talk about miracles. This is one. They did not smudge, right?
Well, I sprayed them a lot.
You know, you sprayed them a lot, but it was great. I just love seeing on the face of one of the postcards the postal stamp.
That's cool. Yeah.
You know, it kind of it's that journey, right? It's that journey which is so important.
Yeah.
And it just really added to it. Well, you know what? We really appreciate you coming in and talking to us today. You know, this is a special program. We're putting this out there for artists to be able to come in, talk about art. All of our featured artists moving forward next year, TCAC will be reopening in March. We're taking a little hiatus because we're going to be redoing the gallery space here.
Great.
And we had to redo it over the winter. You know what? Northwood is kind of slow in the winter, so we figure let's get it done then. So we're going to be reopening in March, and you're our first artist on a full-length interview here for our program, and we're very honored to have you here, Diana. Thank you so very much.
Thank you very much. The privilege is mine. Thank you.
Terrific. And everybody, have an absolutely incredible day. And remember, art does matter.